Greetings. I am Grant, the usual Game Master here at Game Master Monday, and today I am playing Tanned Fae by Cat the Lore Mistress. A few minor content warnings before I begin here this evening. This is a horror game after all, and in this horror game there's going to be terrible creatures, nightmarish entries into a journal, and if you cannot tell by the current screen, teeth loss. So if that's not something that you are mentally prepared to hear depicted, I would understand if you departed now. Let me begin by saying what we're using here for Tanned Fae. I have a 6-sided die, a journal, a pile of coins that I'm using a little app for, and 24 scattered playing cards arranged in 4 rows of 6. I'm going to be using these as I journey across this terrible, nightmarish fairy tale. And I'm going to be playing this a little raw for you here tonight, gang. You're going to be learning the game as I learn the game. So, without further ado, let's begin. Now, before beginning the actual game itself, I am to write an opening entry that represents the first night that a monster called the Creature comes to collect from me, and I have some things to consider. I find myself entered into a bargain with a strange entity, one that visits every night and demands that I play a game with it. The circumstances of how I got here are largely up to me as far as the narrative goes, but there are 3 things that are always true, no matter what. 1, I suffer alone. 2, I cannot change the game and I must play until it's done. 3, if I lose all my teeth, my soul is forfeit. In my first entry, I will now answer the following questions to put some context around who my character is and the deal that I've made here. So, here we go. Who am I? Where in the world am I? And where in time am I? My character's name is Mitch. I have found myself in an unknown forest after exploring it, looking to find nuts and berries and edible animals that I could bring home. And I'm in the time where creatures and monsters are not just folklore. Is the supernatural widely accepted as real? Yes. Yes, it is in my time here, and you can interpret that in a lot of different ways, where children tell each other stories and they are largely believed. I'm not a child, but I have believed the stories. What prevents others from understanding my plight or believing you? I'm too old for such things. The fairy tales that are told by children and for children shouldn't be believed or understood, although I find this funny to believe because people older than me believe in things like witches and the devil. Is that not the same? If I do not live alone, what happens to the others when the creature comes to call? I don't live alone, but the creature only comes to call when I am alone. And whenever I tell stories of this creature, it's not often believed. Now I get to roll a d6 to establish my starting circumstances. That's a 5. Proof. So, for my circumstances on a 5, I know all of it. Every terrible thing. What did the deal itself look like? Were you subtly tricked into this, or did you bring this fate upon yourself, thinking you could control the outcome? Was it even your deal? So to begin this game, I will already be losing 1 tooth. As far as the question goes, what does the deal itself look like? I am not a well-to-do man. I am forced to take care of ailing members of a family, hence why I go out into the woods. I believe the deal itself was the guarantee of sustainability and feed and health in exchange for a game that I must play whenever I go into the woods. I think one could say I was subtly tricked into this. The deal sounded very appealing and easy. Play a game, receive bounteous things back in return. I did think I could control the outcome, and yet I have lost a lot by being out here. Let's talk about what it, the malevolent, is. You have, you think, been dreaming of this creature's coming since childhood. I have woken from a cold sweat many a night, frantically checking my mouth and finding with great relief that my teeth are still intact. But now it's here. Now this is real. The entity that visits me is ancient and powerful. It is, however, bound by 3 rules as it manifests in the realm and exerts its will. Those rules are: it emerges every night to play, without exception. It has some rodent-like qualities or features or an affinity with them. And there is a way out of this bargain. I just have to find it. The form it takes and the presence it exudes is for me to decide upon. How lucky am I? I have some say in shaping my tormentor, so I'll have to consider the following as I do so. In the darkness, what of its physical appearance can you make out? It has beady, rodent-like eyes. I can tell they're black, but I can also tell they're black because they reflect whatever light is shining back at them, and they act more like mirrors than eyes. What does the entity claim to be, if anything, and do I believe it? It's only ever called itself the creature to me, and I have no choice but to believe it because I know it's not shaped like a person. Is my interaction with this entity the first you've had with the other worldly? Well, that depends on what you consider an interaction. Was my time in churches praying to an unseen God an interaction with the otherworldly? Was telling stories about creatures in the woods or monsters under beds or monsters that gobble up little boys an interaction with the otherworldly? I guess it's the first time I've seen proof of it. And how does it communicate with you? What does its voice sound like? Dark and deep is how I would describe the voice, like an angry parent or pastor. Has a rumbling quality to it, and it gets gravelier the angrier it is. It talks to me, it explains rules to me. It's a creature of few words, but it does speak my language. And now for the ritual. There are 2 ways out of this game. I must either win, a feat that has felt almost impossible, or there is a ritual that might save me. I must decide how I learned about it. Was the creature taunting you? Did it seem obligated to hint at the ritual's existence? Did it mistakenly let it slip? Or perhaps you learned of it some other way? I've been saying that whenever I talk about this thing in the real world, people don't tend to believe me, but there has been one person who hinted that creatures who collect teeth can be thwarted via a ritual. And it's up to me to piece together how that ritual is solved, something I've been trying to do the entire time to no avail. This is the only chance of salvation that I have to latch onto, and I hope, this is a powerful motivator. I know that I need 4 key items to enact this ritual, and we'll discover what they are throughout the game. but my time to find them is limited. As mentioned earlier, I have a setup here for playing the game of Tan Fei, including 24 playing cards. They're over here. Just trust me, you don't want to see how I live. And I have 32 teeth. Well, now 31 to start this game. I have removed the jokers from the deck. They're not going to be needed. Every time I am required to pull a card, there'll be a prompt to go along with it. I have a 6-sided die, and as the game goes on, I will have a coin pile that starts at 0, but may increase as time goes on. I'll be using this handy dandy guy to flip those. I have set up my grid, and I am ready to embark upon my nightmarish journey to find ritual components and defeat the creature. Right, there are 2 phases of play per turn in this game. Combined, they represent a full 24 hours passing. The first is the investigation. This is where I will move around my 24 card grid and flip prompts. And then there is the game, when the creature visits and I must play flip the coin with it. Once I've performed the actions required for both phases, I will write that cycle's journal entry with all that has happened in mind. These journal entries can be short, noting only key details to remember, or long passages of narrative that record my character's journey at great length. Don't worry, audience, I'll be sharing them with you. There is little point in wallowing in self-pity. It is time to let self-preservation kick in and try and save myself. This is the first cycle. I will turn over the card that I placed my playing piece upon and find the prompt that it matches up with. So for that is the 4 of spades. So let's see what that says. For the spades, these have to do with the creature. My reward for the 4 of spades is I decrease the tooth cost by 1. Reflect upon how being in this creature's presence makes you feel. Frightened and hopeless? Or is the interaction oddly enjoyable? How much of how are you feeling is manipulated by the entity, and how much is you? At first it was fun. I think the creature let me win a few times every night, and I got to bring things home. But in recent evenings, it hasn't been as easy to locate victory, so my fear has been palpable. Everything is chance, which I suppose is the creature's doing, but isn't it also mine? Didn't I agree to this? Isn't it my own fault that I'm here in the first place? The good news is my tooth cost goes down by 1 this round. The creature also visits every night and demands that you play with it. Flip a coin and see if you have won or lost the round. If tails, you have won the round. You lose no tooth tokens tonight, and each time that you win a round, a coin is added to your coin pile, and the tooth cost is reduced by 1. If heads, I have lost the round. The creature demands tooth tokens from me. My tooth cost will always start at 3. I may spend any number of coins that I've amassed in my coin pile in place of teeth at a 1-to-1 ratio. So if I have 2 tokens, I can use 2 of those. Whenever you lose, the tooth cost is increased by 1 to a maximum of 3. So for this particular game round, I still only have 1 coin. My tooth cost, because of my 4 of spades, has dropped from a 3 to a 2. So if I roll heads, then I will lose 2 teeth. So the idea here is to win, but winning is a double-edged sword, because if I have more coins, that's more chances to roll heads. But of course, I can spend coins in place of teeth if I need to, but that also gives me fewer chances to win, you see. So here we go, our first coin flip with the creature. And when you know it, I rolled a 1, which we established is going to be tails. So I win this round. I lose no teeth tonight, and a coin is added to my coin pile. And that's the game. And so we continue to the next day, pulling my next card here. The Six of Clubs. Clubs represent research into the creature. For the Six of Clubs, I may add one tooth back to my token pile, which means on our tooth tracker here, I wake up in the middle of the night having gained a tooth. The tooth cost cannot increase during this cycle's game phase, even if I lose. Well, isn't that just dandy? You reach out to a spiritual figure who is skeptical but agrees to visit you in your home. Upon arrival, they are immediately frightened and eager to be gone, but do perform some small rite, and you regain one of your teeth. Reflect in more detail upon this visit. I grew up going to churches, but when I grew up, I stopped going to churches. I have been telling certain pastors around town about the creature, but I have been making no headway with them. I've asked one, a Father Bustamante, a Filipino man who's appeared to me in other dreams, to come and look at my home and analyze it for demons, entities, or monsters. We prayed together, his voice shaking the entire time. But when he left, I felt in the corner of my mouth a new tooth. So I don't think the monster is going to look too kindly to, but at least my tooth cost cannot get any higher than where it's at now. From our earlier prompt, my tooth cost is currently down to 2, so losing still only nets me 2 teeth lost. But even if I lose this one, the creature can't increase it. So if nothing else, I can only lose 2 teeth, and I got a mouth full of them right now, which is pretty great for me. Okay, I misspoke earlier, friends and family. I only have to roll one of the coins in my pile, it would seem. I just have 2 in my pile, and I can trade those out if I need to. Flipping my 1 coin. Tails again. I stay lucky. I win the round. I lose no tooth tokens tonight, and a coin is added to my pile. So for those keeping track at home, 32 teeth, 3 coins, only 2 cost of my teeth. I haven't had any luck finding the ritual tokens, but this is akin to the story I told earlier. In the early days of this monster haunting me, I've had very good luck. And I've been able to keep bringing back food, supplies, medicine to my family who desperately needs it. Let's see if my good luck continues, shall we? Queen of Diamonds. The diamond cards represent memories. So let's see what the Queen has for me. Once again, the tooth cost cannot increase during the cycle's game phase, even if I lose. You have overcome seemingly insurmountable odds before in your life. What were they? How did you do so? What lessons do you take from the way you approach things then, and how do they help you now? I've never been an intelligent person. I've never been a strong person, never been a reliable person until adulthood. It felt like a lot of things in my life felt insurmountable, but when the time came for me to step up to take care of a family that was ailing from the loss of a father, that's when I felt my destiny click into place. I stopped relying on the opinions of others. I started gaining my own. I started doing more physical labor. I worked on increasing my strength, my moral resolve, my ability to believe in myself as opposed to other entities. That is serving me both well and foolishly against this creature because I have spent so much time taking care of others and believing that I can do that, that I've been carrying that same gusto into a game of chance. Folks, that's tails. It continues to be tails. I have 4 coins in my pile now, and I have not yet lost any fucking teeth. Best teeth in the game. Now we're cooking. 7 of diamonds. We're still with memories here. Sure would like to find some aces so I can get out of this eternal plight, but here we are. 7, add 2 coins to your pile. That's going to bring me to 6. I find an object of great nostalgic sentiment. What is it? Was it a gift? Why does it mean so much to me? And what caused me to forget about it for so long? How does this help you now? My father, before he passed away, gave me a wooden nickel. It's basically worthless. Wooden nickels are not meant to carry any actual value, but in our family, we've always said a wooden nickel is good enough. A nickel's a nickel. This means that even when it doesn't seem like things are in your favor, when you are down and out and you have nothing to your name but literally nothing, at least you still have something you can hang on to. That might be a false hope, the false hope of a wooden nickel, but that is what I'm hanging on to. And you know what? I've had a lot of coins and a lot of teeth. I, I stay lucky. I stay lucky. I'm still rolling ones. I don't lose any teeth. I gain a coin. My family is being well taken care of. Maybe the creature just wants to take care of us. I've been playing this game for 4 days, and nothing bad has happened to me. Still in Diamond Town, it looks like. King of Diamonds. There we go. King of Diamonds. Are you all enjoying my butterfly deck? My deck of many bugs? Should I have warned you that I'll be showing you pictures of bugs? Maybe. Choose another adjacent card to flip and advance 1 more space on your grid. Answer its prompt also. Okay. Okay, I'm going to keep that right here on my desk until this prompt is answered. As I am searching through my attic, I find evidence that a relative of mine also once encountered the creature. Did they make a deal with it too? And what was it, if so? Did I know them well, if at all? What was I told happened to them, and was this a lie? I've always known my family to be poor, but I don't think I ever fully understood why. I find a picture in my attic of my father's father's brother, my great uncle, with a toothless smile, standing in front of a lavish, for the time, home. And a second photo of a toothless frown, an empty, regretting face, as everything he had was now an abandoned shack, no family around him. I never met him. I never met my great uncle. I don't know if I was told anything about him. I do know that my father held a great animosity towards this man and said it was always going to be his fault, whatever happened to us. Maybe it takes someone with a sharper wit to get us back to where we started. Wow. The second prompt that I pulled from this one, the 5 of diamonds. Feeling very nostalgic these nights. All right, for the 5 of diamonds, I increase the tooth cost by 1, so we're back to 3. I realize suddenly that since the creature has been taking my teeth, my memory is starting to fail me. What small thing do I momentarily forget to do that clues me into this? I haven't lost any teeth. I did lose one a few days ago when this whole deal started, a down payment, if you will. So losing my teeth has not cause a lapse in memory, but I do remember in those early days, there'd be certain chores that wouldn't get done. People talking about how cold it was at night, only for me to realize I hadn't chopped wood. I was too busy thinking of the game. I wonder if these are connected somehow. Well, 5 prompts down, the creature comes. So, I must flip a coin. I'm not kidding. I wish I was kidding. Folks, I'm never going to die. I'm going to live forever. This guy can't get me, I tells you. My coin pile increases to 7. Going snake style up my grid here. I'm now on the 3rd row. Queen of Hearts. Haven't seen a heart yet today, but I do know the hearts are emblematic of community. The tooth cost cannot increase during the cycle's game phase even if I lose, which is good news because I couldn't increase the tooth cost anyway. The maximum is 3. What of your loved ones or the people you care about? You've worked hard to protect them and push them away from the danger, but now one of them is determined to visit you and understand what's going on with you. What do I tell them and what is their response? This is probably my mother, my sick, poor, ailing mother, who have been fighting to take care of this entire time. She's been feeling better lately because I have a week's worth of supplies and medicines and food that I've been able to give her. So her situation has been improving, and she would just like to know why that is. I'm going to have to tell her that that's something she doesn't need to know. That it's my responsibility as the person running this house to know that. Which she doesn't take kindly to. She says that's not the kind of man I raised you to be. But it beats the alternative. Not that I'm too worried about it. This poor creature's been trying to get my goat for a week and he just hasn't. So let's see if I get him this time. I got cocky. Chat, I got cocky. So that is a 2, which means on the tooth tracker, I lose 3 teeth. Now, I know that I can spend any of my coins here to negate this. I can trade in 3 of my coins and not take any damage here. But frankly, I've been having such good fortune that I'd rather save those for when I really, really need them. So my coin pile will stay at 7 as the creature puts a rat-like paw over my mouth and absconds with my back 3 teeth. Ugh. Thought about it in real life. Can I please get an ace? My God. Queen of Clubs. I think there's our 3rd queen here tonight. In the research category, the tooth cost cannot increase. Bully for that. As I collect together lists of other incidents and attempt to stop the creature, teeth fresh out of my mouth, noting their locations, I begin to notice a pattern. What is it? What's the most troubling thing about it, and does it offer insight into the creature's bigger plans? I'm going to actually swap this prompt out. Given the nature of the story we've been telling here tonight, I don't think I'm the kind of person who's going to be piecing together anything about this creature, given how little people believe in it. Luckily, since we only have 24 cards in our deck here tonight, I have this pile of cards that at any time I can swap a prompt out for if I feel like it's giving me a dead end. So we're going to replace that one with the 10 of Hearts, which is all well and good. 10 of Hearts in community. I lose 1 coin from my coin pile, bringing me back down to 6. Right after I talked about wanting to stash those. This game has a sick irony to it. You come across a hidden shrine of some kind, marked by a circular symbol with an unusual skull in the center that reminds you of the entity. Have I seen this symbol before? What about this place disturbs you the most? I have seen this symbol before. It's the one that's emblazoned on the creature's chest. I know it all too well. I see it every single night. What do I make of this in this moment? And what about this place disturbs me the most? I think what disturbs me the most is how omnipresent a space in my mind this thing occupies. Everything about my day-to-day life just is about this creature, about this game, and I'm all too aware of it now that I lost my round last night. Nothing to bring home, 3 teeth missing, my mouth is sore, and now I've lost a coin somewhere around here as well. This night could not have gone any worse. And then the creature comes to me at night in the woods. But we're so back. That coin I lost back in the pile. I don't lose a token, and I have 7 coins again. No one's taking down Mitch, I tell you what. Still no aces, Cat, if you're out there, but the King of Spades is what I've pulled next. Okay, for the King of Spades, choose another adjacent card to flip and advance 1 more space on my grid. Answer its prompt also. Boys, girls, envies. Ace of Diamonds. Talk about that in a second. Going back to the King of Spades. Stepping into the moonlight, pulling back its tattered garb, the creature reveals its terrifying self. Describe in detail its physical appearance. Add your true feelings upon seeing it for what it really is. How does its physiology defy nature? The small details I knew about it before, the glossed over eyes, the emblem of a skull imprinted on its chest, paws like rats, but big enough to fit over a mouth. Those are all well too familiar to me now, but now I see the rest of its skull shape. I now recognize that its skull is shaped the way the emblem is emblazed on it. I see 2 large mouse ears, a large rodent-like noise in the center, an eternal grin that has far too many teeth in it. And I recognize a lot of these teeth are mismatching human teeth. It appears to be adding its prizes to its own mouth. A crown of flowers and a trunk of a tree emblazoned on its head, long, impossibly long arms, almost the size of me, and at the end of them, rat-like appendages, and of course, legs that are even longer than the arms. All of it covered in black, gooey, molasses-like skin, or maybe it's just matted fur. I don't like looking at this. That's for damn sure. I do not like this. Well, maybe we'll get tails again. Called it. Shot my shot. I think we're going to make it, gang. I think we're just going to make it. We're about halfway through this bad boy, and I'm doing real hot so far. But let's talk about our boy, the Ace of Diamonds, before I forget. This is one of the tokens I'm looking for the ritual, and it would make sense that I would find it the day the creature decides to reveal itself to me, don't you think? So for the Ace of Diamonds, which I should have done before I flipped, but hey, we're all learning here. I may add 3 coins to the coin pile. With my earlier victory, that brings me to 11 coins. I have found my baby teeth, one of 4 ritual components. This is not the last ace that I have found, which means I may choose another card on the grid to flip, even if I'm not adjacent to it, and I will also answer that card's prompt. Well, there's a 3 out of 14 chance it's another ace. I'm going to take a corner card here. Nope, but it is the 8 of hearts. So I'll put that here while I answer this ace prompt. Reflect upon the memory of losing your first baby tooth. What did I believe happened to them afterwards? And am I surprised to find them here so neatly labeled? And what must be done at them as part of the ritual? I have found my baby teeth in a graveyard. I was told that the creatures of the night tend to hide their secrets in graveyards. So out here I am exploring that possibility, only to find my own teeth. I was pretty old for a kid when I started losing my baby teeth. I remember that much because I was bullied for it. Other kids at school would wonder why my teeth were still so small. Why did I have no gaps yet? I don't remember the exact age, but it was not the age you're supposed to lose your first tooth at. Regardless, it was a big deal in my house. My father and my mother told me that they will hide this tooth somewhere in the house and I'll be rewarded with a coin. The coin wound up being the wooden nickel my father gave me. What must I do with them as part of this ritual? Based on what I know here, I know this creature is collecting teeth. I would assume that the ritual involves handing something to the creature. So I will merely keep these in a safe place on my person at all times until I understand better what the other items I need to collect are. Going to the 8 of Hearts in our community tab. Well, I gained 3, but I'm going to lose 2 coins from the pile now, so I'll go from 11 to 9. I find an old photograph or a recording, I'm going to say photograph, of me smiling giddily at the camera and having fun. When was it taken? As you look it over, you notice something in the background that makes your blood run cold. What is it? I'm a kid. Camera's a fairly newer thing. My father excited to finally try one out. I didn't know who the old man in the back of this picture was for a long time, but now I recognize that it's my great uncle. A toothless smile standing far in the distance next to our new modest home, the one that we're still living in, the one that has fallen into disrepair due to lack of funds. An omen, perhaps. I don't remember seeing him or talking to him that day at all. Ka-chow. Still Tails. I would imagine this game is meant to be making me shiver and shake with fright, but all I do is win. I'm back to 10 coins. And I have our second ritual card, Ace of Hearts. I can only assume that in the future the chat is going absolutely crazy right now. So I'm going to add 3 coins to my coin pile. That puts me at 13. A number that feels too big. I have found the awful truth of the necessary sacrifice, one of the 4 ritual components. This is not my final card, of course, so if not my final ritual card, so I must choose another card on the grid to flip, even if I'm not adjacent to it. I'm going to peek ahead and see what the last card would be here, the last card on the journey, which is the 4 of Hearts. Talk about that bad boy in a second. Are you sure you want to know? Is it worth the nightmares, do you think? Because it's possibly the only way to save yourself. But then you'll have to live with what you've done. Now I know something has been keeping this at bay for all these years. Now I understand the true meaning of sacrifice. And it isn't pretty or the slightest bit noble, like the storybooks might have you believe. What awful thing must you do during this ritual in order for you to find your freedom? Earlier, I found my baby teeth, a memory that is uniquely tied to my parents and this wooden nickel and my father who has passed. My father always spoke of sacrifice and that we must protect the things we love the most, even if it means we give up the things we love the most. If protecting you means giving this up, can I do it? What would I need to give up, though? My family has been haunted by the specter of poor health and death for as long as I can remember. The thing I'm protecting is the thing I care about the most. Do I have to sacrifice a member of my family for the game to end? Is that worth it to me? I suppose I have 2 more artifacts to figure it out, though. 4 of hearts allows me to decrease the tooth cost by 1 at least, so we're back down to 2. Today I hear children playing games and singing nursery rhymes. The words that they are singing catch my attention. What exactly do I hear, and what is their reaction? Folks, I am in a room by myself at night right now. I'm going to swap that prompt out. But we're still with the hearts. Surrounding with the Jack of Hearts instead from our discard pile. So we will scratch the tooth cost decreasing. With the Jack of Hearts, the tooth cost cannot decrease during this phase even. Well, look at that. I couldn't decrease it even if I wanted to. You have noticed before, but there are an unusual amount of missing person posters in this town. Some look incredibly old, but they remain ignored and unfound. How far back do they date? Are local authorities still searching, or do people seem oddly reluctant to acknowledge or help? Chad, I'm going to get a little dark with this one. This is going to be about children, so prepare yourself. I have noted missing posters all around town. They're always of littler kids. Their baby teeth still in their mouths. They date back from even before when I was born. Some are even recent. I don't know if this is the creature's doing. I've never known the creature to hunt children. I know it's only targeted me in my adult life. But the teeth in their pictures, they're always smiling with their full mouth. And maybe I'm just being paranoid. Maybe it's the nature of the game I've been playing, but that just doesn't feel right to me. Or maybe I'm just hyper aware of teeth at the moment. I don't know if the local authorities search anymore. I cannot recall a time when they had a success in that matter. I don't think people are reluctant to help, but I do think they have noted how fruitless helping has been. The creature, however, remains at bay. I'm going to the casino tonight. I'm telling you what. I've won the round. I lose no tooth tokens, and I increase my coin pile, which I have 14 now? Cat, if you're watching, I'm so sorry for being way too good at Tan Fei. Let's pull our next prompt card, shall we? Getting warmer. Ace of Clubs. 3/4 of the way there, gang. So we return to clubs, the research deck. I add 3 coins to the pile, and I have found the entity's hidden weakness, one of the 4 ritual components. Not my final card, so I will choose another card on the grid to flip and answer its prompt also. That's a 3 of hearts. I want to have a lot of hearts on this one, so we'll read that prompt here in a moment. The creature is vulnerable to one thing in particular. What is it? Something material or something conceptual? What will happen to the creature if the weakness is exploited, and how does it tie into the ritual as a whole? Let's see. So far I have baby teeth, the knowledge of sacrifice, and now I have found his blatant weakness. He's a rodent. An oversized, monstrous rodent, to be certain, but a rodent nonetheless. And what would a rodent be more afraid of than something that can eat it? I find a bird companion, a large bird, an eldritch bird with gigantic talons, a toothless beak, a red-hot fury in its eyes. I befriend this creature. I explain my plight to it. I am speaking to a bird in the middle of the day, in the middle of town. I don't know if people see the bird, but I have the bird. And I have so much insurance from this creature. I'm getting cocky again, chat. Or am I just confident? Another tails, another coin. Oh, 3 of hearts. I have to do 2 prompts when I do those aces. So, hey, for the sake of fairness, I'll reflip that. Why not? I get to add 1 coin to my pile with the 3 of hearts, bringing me to 16? No, wait. Yeah, 16. There is someone who visits my house often, perhaps a staff member or a landlord, who is keenly aware of my odd and obsessive behavior and tolerates it with a nervous concern. They visit me today. What oddly helpful advice do they offer? Definitely a landlord. I don't have people who work for me. No staff here. The landlord has noted that I've been bringing back a copious amount of food lately, despite no change in my employment or financial situation. And I have never explained the reason why to him, to Mr. Barnaby. I've merely said that I have been very fortunate as of late. But I say that with a musk around me, with a bizarre aura, a smell, a crazed look in my eye, and it's very obvious I don't have 3 teeth in particular. But he doesn't know how fortunate that is for me. He's never been cruel. He's never raised our rent more than was necessary. Although, if you ask me, no increase in rent is necessary, but he's always kept it affordable at least. But today he tells me to not get lost in rituals, to not succumb to the whims of fancy that this town often finds itself plagued by. He tells me he lost his faith a long time ago, and he's never been happier for it. And he's also told me to never allow myself to get into debt. That is the true killer of all. He don't know how many coins I got, though. Flipping. That one's heads, though. Only my second heads of the game. But again, I would rather use those coins for when they're desperately needed and I'm at the verge of losing something terrible. So I'll walk around without teeth. I'm close enough to solving this. I don't want the creature to get suspicious after all. So I will take this loss. He can take whatever he wants from me. Maybe the sacrifice is just more of my teeth and I won't have to do anything else. 7 of hearts. I can feel the madness taking me, but I'm a winner, baby. I'm a winner. They're not going to beat me here today. And I get to add 2 coins to my pile. I am not going to get beat by this dude, I tell you what. As you lose more and more teeth, you have to find increasingly inventive ways to cover these losses up. What lengths do you go to so that people do not notice and ask too many questions? Yeah, my landlord clocked the other day that I lost 3 teeth on this side, and now I have 3 teeth that are gone on this side. My ability to chew foliage is getting harder to take bites out of the sides of my mouth. I've been avoiding certain types of food, salads, vegetables, things I gotta leverage, you understand, so that I don't get a gummy thing. So I've been increasing the meat in my diet, things I can bite from the front using my big front side chompers. I eat them a little bit manically. I'm constantly wincing. People should probably notice, but sometimes you just have to disguise your awful plight with an awful diet. Flippy the card, flippy the coin. Here be. Oh, it's no longer going well for your boy. But I remain cocky, continuing to prioritize the backs of my teeth. But from this point forward, gang, might need to start using those coins. I'm down 9 teeth, bringing me to a whopping 23 of them, getting harder to eat. 8 of clubs. I could sure use that last ritual card, I tell you what, but we're going to keep pressing on. Toothless. The 8 of clubs. I lose 2 coins in my coin pile. No big deal. I lose 2 coins in my coin pile. Try if you were able to think about how it feels when the creature takes your teeth. Is it painful and drawn out, violent and messy, or does the creature work some magic to make you numb to what is happening? What do you learn about the entity and its methods by reflecting on this? It's only happened to me 3 times, but I have noted before that he puts his giant rat paw over my mouth, pulls, and then I have 3 missing teeth, so he does it all at once. I won't lie, it is painful. There is no blood. There's not even a mess. Just the feeling and pressure of force of having something that was in your skull taken out of it. This is a true story about your game master here tonight. They didn't put me under any kind of sleeping anesthetic when they took my wisdom teeth out. I was numb, but I was conscious. And you can feel the pull even when you're numb. On that cheery note, how about we flip a coin, shall we? This is where I might need to start using my actual banked coins. Or not, whatever. That's tails. Coin of the bank. I'm unstoppable. We're so back. 7 of spades, though. With the 7 of spades, I once again talk about the creature. I add 2 more coins to my pile. It seems that this entity does not just want teeth. It carries collections of all sorts of oddities with it and guards them closely. Tonight, it shows you one of these hoards. What else does it covet? What does it use its collection for, if anything? This is something new that he shows me. I haven't seen this on his body before, but it's a necklace around the neck, of course. Where else would you put a necklace? But this seems to be made of finger bones. So it seems that if there is something where the human body has a lot of it inside of it, it wants it. Teeth, hand bones. Oh God, did he piece together his rodent appearance from that kind of thing too? Tails again. My coin pile is getting redonk. Let's pull a card. Get your motorhead going. It's the Ace of Spades. That is our last ritual card. 9 teeth deep, but unstoppable. I have found the entity's true name, one of the 4 ritual components. If this is the 4th ace I have found, I may answer this prompt and move on to an ending prompt. A true name does not have to be in a word, but can be in some core part of the creature's identity. What is it? Why does it hide it? What power is found within its discovery? How does it tie into the ritual? Baby teeth, the idea of sacrifice, and its vulnerability. The bird. The creature's name is my name. Granted, it's calling itself Mitchell, not Mitch, but it's my name. Everything about this has pertained to me. My overconfidence, my history, my past, my family. The thing I have to sacrifice isn't any of them, it's me. Or at least who I am. There's a possibility that me and the creature are one and the same. But I guess we'll find out as we read the cheater's ending. Perhaps I have never been one to submit to the will of others easily. Perhaps I refuse to do it anymore, but I have successfully found the third way, beyond win or loss. I've managed to find all 4 of the ritual components and have the means to banish the entity from my life for good. The creature is infuriated, or perhaps impressed, and calls me a cheater. What does my final interaction look like? I describe the ritual process and what each component requires in order to successfully complete it. How does it feel to perform? Is there pain? I will symbolically close the tooth tracker. I will grow hordes of teeth. I will place the ritual items in front of it. I will hand the creature my baby teeth. I will hand the creature the bird and watch it peck away at its more unusual extremities. Watch as it completely evaporates and dissolves away, but not vanishing. No, not vanishing. The ritual does not take the creature out of my life. I cheated after all. I looked for a way out. I didn't finish the game. I instead found items. My great uncle's name was Mitchell. My name is Mitchell. I played a game with a creature. I beat it. But I did what any creature does. I became one myself. My family will be taken care of. They will be safe. Nothing will come into their way of harm. They will regain the dignity they deserve. My mother restored to full health. My siblings will be able to carry on with a normal, healthy, and well-off life. I will simply stalk the woods and see if anyone would like to play a game with a pile of 20 coins. And that's Tan Fei. Thank you everyone for coming to our stream here tonight. This is the third episode in our Tales from Gast here in the bleak Midwinter. I hope you all get home safely. Next week you'll be hearing from Forever GM Justin as he plays Children of Heaven by Eskaya J. I hear it's a real bummer. In the meantime, I'm Grant. I run Game Master Monday. We're a podcast mostly. We play a new one-shot and a new system with a new cast every episode. We'll be back here on Twitch in January to run Castaway the Tundra. I'll be GMing that with an exciting 10-person cast as we raise funds for the charity Feeding America to help those impacted by the U.S. government being a shitheel and blocking SNAP benefits and forcing people to reapply for said things. Feeding America is a wonderful charity that helps combat hunger in the US of A, and we encourage you to come and donate frequently and help our newest Castaway cast. That's going to feature Anna Eliza from Hilarity Saves, Ross from Blades of Mayari, Kenny Mai from Fables of Frost and Fur, Blue from Batty Bards, Mags from Streaming Rainbow, Tori from Athraplay, Abigail the Nerd, Jenna Daggers, Hamna from God fucking so many things, and Spunky Taylor. We hope to see you then, but more importantly, I hope to see you next week for another tale from Gast in the bleak midwinter. Goodbye, everyone.